energy savings and unmatched durability, backed with attractive pricing and nationwide after-sales support. Whatever is the need, there's a perfect fit for it. Need I say more?
Royal Affordable Luxury. From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Waodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Bola Tinubu reaffirms his administration's unwavering resolve to defend Nigeria's sovereignty and safeguard the nation's unity and stability. Senate passes for second reading the Armed Forces Bill 2025, seeking to outlaw recruitment of persons below 18 into the military. House of Representatives warns of looming mass failure in 2026 WAEC exams, urges immediate suspension of CBT policy and recruitment of computer teachers nationwide. And public pressure mounts for full Epstein files release as White House dismisses Trump-linked messaging as faceless.
And on business news, the Ogun Chamber of Commerce has criticized the suspension of the 15% fuel import tariff, warning it could hurt local refineries.
On sports news tonight, Super Eagles beat Gabon 4-1 in extra time to advance to the final of the FIFA World Cup playoffs in Rabat, Morocco.
From the nation's capital, troops of the Nigerian Army rescued 74 National Youth Service Corps members, neutralized 9 ISWAP members.
We begin tonight with a commitment from the President. President Bola Tinubu says his government remains determined and resilient to ensure that the sovereignty of Nigeria is protected. He stated this when he hosted participants on course 33 of the National Defense College at the State House, Abuja. Well, according to the President, the responsibility of developing Nigeria requires the collective responsibility of all. Our State House correspondent, Empress Simon, reports.
President Tinubu arrives at the Council Chamber of the State House, Abuja, to meet with the participants of Course 33 of the Nigerian National Defense College. Although the course ended in August, the participants have reconvened to present their report to the President with some recommendations.
We earnestly request that you consider the implementation of Project Native 2040 blueprint for harnessing indigenous manufacturing towards enhanced national security and development in Nigeria by year 2040. And this will require, Your Excellency, that you direct the Federal Ministry of Works to execute the Industrial Resilience Drive by the third quarter of 2026.
The Commandant of the National Defense College, Rear Admiral Abdullahi Ahmed, assures the President of efforts the college is making to tackle emerging security threats.
Please permit me to assure Your Excellency that the college is poised to research into the current security situation in the country, to provide strategic contribution to national security, and present same by Course 34 to Mr. President by the end of July 2025, subject to your approval, sir.
President Tinubu congratulated the participants, stressing the need to protect Nigeria's sovereignty.
It is a patriotic duty to look further into the horizon, to be determined and be resilient, to invoke our spirit that can achieve greatness, and ensure sovereignty is assured, protected, and will remain resilient.
He pledges to attend to all the issues raised in the report that was presented, calling for patience.
The findings delivered to me this afternoon will receive a diligent attention and a thorough review and critical path for implementation. Just be patient, continue to work hard, share knowledge, impact it on every opportunity that you may have.
Participants of the course 33 of the National Defense College comprises 25 from the Nigerian Army, 16 from the Navy, 12 from the Air Force, 18 from NDAs, and 23 international participants from countries including India, Nepal, Brazil, Morocco, and Egypt. From the Presidential Villa, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
The African Union has once again denied claims of genocide against Christians in Nigeria, stressing that the situation has been misrepresented. The AU chairperson, Mahmoud Yusuf, made this comment at the United Nations headquarters in New York on Wednesday while speaking to journalists. His comments comes as reactions continue to trail U.S. President Donald Trump's threat of military intervention against terrorists in Nigeria's northern region.
Let me say this first. There is no genocide in northern Nigeria. We have issued a communique making clear that what's going on in northern part of Nigeria has nothing to do with the kind of atrocities we see in Sudan or in some part of eastern DRC. I think the complexity of the situation in northern Nigeria should, push us think twice before, declaring such or making such statements. The first victims of Boko Haram are Muslims, not Christians. The first victims, and I'm saying it with documented references. So the complexity in the northern part of Nigeria should not be taken, that easily. So what we are saying to those statements, with regard to those statements, is that the African continent is very complex. It's not that easy to describe those situations with such, very easy words that can be used, in a not reasonable way. That's why the African Union continent, the African Union Commission are very clear about that. We made it clear in our statement and communique, and we would like really to stress again that there is no genocide in northern Nigeria.
The Senate has moved to outlaw the recruitment of persons under the age of 18 into the military as it passed the Armed Forces Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025, the second reading. The provision, which prohibits the enlistment of minors, aligns Nigeria's military practices with the Child Right Act 2003, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, and the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. The bill was sponsored by Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua from Katsina Central. And National Assembly correspondent Gloria Umezuki reports.
Senators reconvened for the last plenary session of the week with the subject of overhauling and reforming the Armed Forces Bill in focus. Leading the debate, Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua argued that the bill clarifies the chain of command in the military. He also speaks about the recruitment process.
Enlistment of persons below 18 years, aligning Nigeria with the Child Rights Act and international humanitarian standards.
The reform also ensures that legally qualified military officers will be permitted to represent the armed forces in civil courts. A standing fund for litigation will also be established to ensure the timely and efficient handling of military-related legal matters.
This bill also seeks to subject military authorities to the authority of democratically elected institutions
so that they cannot be masters of themselves.
I want, in amending this law, I want them to bring at any time the commander-in-chief wants to appoint a chief of army staff, chief of naval staff, it should go by their courses.
A bill for an act to repeal the Armed Forces Act and to reenact a modern, constitutionally compliant and operationally responsive legal framework for the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Second reading taken.
Separately, the Senate debated a bill to establish the Chartered Institute of Revenue and Fiscal Management, a proposed legislation which is a major step towards addressing the nation's chronic dependence on debt to finance its annual budgets. The lawmakers expressed polarized views.
This is like duplicating an act that is already in operation, not bringing a new bill and setting up a new professional body that will be doing exactly the same thing as the Chartered Institute of Taxation is doing.
The bill subsequently skills second reading.
Second reading taken.
Distinguished colleagues. Outside the chamber, the Senate Committee on Public Accounts in a media conference announced the commencement of an investigation into the generation and utilization of stamp duty revenue across the country.
This committee has written all commercial banks to furnish this committee with information, and information that will be accompanied with figures as to how much that particular bank or collectively all the commercial banks have been able to generate from 2016 to 2024.
The Senate has passed for second reading a bill to amend the Sheriff and Civil Process Act 2004. The bill seeks to modernize civil justice by introducing electronic service and enforcement of court processes, intrinsically aiming to improve judgment enforcement, especially against government agencies. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has reaffirmed his commitment to the rule of law and due process in addressing land disputes in the nation's capital. He warns the government will not condone any attempt to undermine approved land allocations or disregard the established regulation. Speaking during the FCT Executive Council meeting in Abuja, the minister reiterated his respect for all government institutions, including the military, while ensuring that officials discharging their duties are protected. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
Members of the Federal Capital Territory Executive Council are meeting to review ongoing projects and policy implementation across the nation's capital. The meeting, chaired by the FCT Minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, had in attendance secretaries, directors, and heads of agencies under the FCT administration. The minister used the opportunity to clarify the recent face-off with some military personnel over a land dispute.
First of all, you are blind. I want to use that fact, recreation statement.
He emphasized that all parties must follow due process and respect approved land allocations.
I was the one who's the well-off. I was up to it should be. Do you have documents? You don't have. Do you have any approval? You don't have. So what's the problem? We should allow lawlessness to continue. Okay. If this is what we want, but not while I'm sitting here, where I go, then allow that. My conscience will not allow me. If I'm enforcing rules, order, to other people, then I will begin to say, this man does not go there because he was former this, he was former that. Nobody does that. Everything you do, what does the law say about this? Let's follow the law.
He also reaffirmed his respect for all government institutions, including the military, explaining that his intervention in the incident was to restore order.
I have respect for the military. I will continue to respect them. I know what the institution stands for. So anybody trying to bring collision there to say, oh, there's no problem with the military. It's not correct. I don't have a problem with the military. I don't have a problem with the military. And I will not have a problem. Why would I have a problem with the government? I don't know government government officers. Are there not decisions or government decisions? Yeah. Why should I go have problem with it? I don't have. And I will not have.
The FCT administration urges Nigerians to respect the rule of law and obey government instructions. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, PDP Board of Trustees also admits ongoing internal crisis and self-inflicted, but assures the party's national convention in Ibadan will proceed as scheduled. Please join us again.
Hi, baby girl. Hello. I know. I've missed you.
Why text when you can talk? With Glow Talk Master 646. You get all the time you need to catch up with friends and loved ones. Free with Glow Talk Master. Talk for 6 minutes and get 6 minutes free. Plus 50 MB data. Simply dial *606#. New Glow subscribers also enjoy an extra 2,000 Naira data and airtime welcome bonus. That's right. Every time you make up to 6 minutes of calls in a day, you get 6 free minutes plus 50 MB data. Simply dial *606# now to enjoy Glow Talk Master. That's right. 50 MB free data to connect and share as you please.
With Nivea Dry Deo, you can keep moving forward in life with confidence. Nivea Dry Deo. Derma's 72-hour active protection. With 0% alcohol to prevent irritation. Stay dry and fresh all day long. Skin is for moving forward. Nivea is for skin. Your favorite Nivea Dry Deo, now in a smaller pack size.
This is the story of MTN in Nigeria. Led by Nigerians with over 45% female leadership. Guided by our strategy, we continue to partner with relevant platforms, leveraging our profile as the most trusted and valued brand in Africa. We are driving digital and financial inclusion, supporting our communities and national priorities. We are proud to be the first telco to achieve over 82% coverage in 4G and the first to roll out 5G in Nigeria. We continue to deepen financial inclusion in underserved communities through our Momo agents and merchants. We are committed to ensuring that we provide through these platforms access at the fingertips of every Nigerian. Oh yes, we truly believe that everyone deserves the benefits of a modern connected life.
The reward of success.
Welcome to What Do You Think? The thrill is called sports bets and casino games. The stakes are rising. Play your way, the chance is near. With competitive odds, the win is clear. What do you bet? Bet smart, win big, feel alive. Lightning payouts, non-stop lives. Your journey to greatness, it's here, it's begun.
they happen just like that. It come from support when you need help.
Mommy, I got the school fees. You too much.
Na money point too.
Money point, thank you.
Customer, na transfer, Abi? Confirm.
Bro, na transfer. Na money point, okay? Oh, na confirm.
Progress na peace of mind when you know say payment go land at Sure Banker. Progress na small wind where the carry person go far.
No worry, yourself go make am. Go Bible.
Victor, even you they use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirm.
Money point, made for your progress.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. President Tinubu reaffirms his administration's unwavering resolve to defend Nigeria's sovereignty and safeguard the nation's unity and stability. The Senate passes for second reading the Armed Forces Bill 2025, seeking to outlaw recruitment of persons below 18 into the military. House of Representatives warns of looming math failure in 2026 WAEC exams, urges immediate suspension of CBT policy and recruitment of computer teachers nationwide. Public pressure mounts for full Epstein files release as White House dismisses Trump-linked messages as baseless. Let's head to the Green Chamber, where the House of Representatives is raising alarm over what it describes as an impending massive failure of candidates who will write the 2026 WAEC examination. Raised as a matter of urgent national importance by Honorable Kelechi Nwogo, the House is concerned about the outcry of the Nigerian Union of Teachers and Public Schools in rural areas over the lack of electricity and functional computers. The lawmakers have asked WAEC to suspend the CBT policy with immediate effect while calling for the recruitment of computer teachers in public schools. Meanwhile, the House is raising concern over the looming public health dangers in the Federal Capital Territory. Our National Assembly correspondent Terry Ikumi reports.
The final plenary session of the week in the House of Representatives begins with yet another set of defections witnessed by leaders of the ruling All Progressives Congress, including the national chairman of the party, the deputy Senate president, and the chief of staff to the president. Representatives Sagir Koki and Abdul Mumin Jibrin from Kano State formally defect from the New Nigeria People's Party as the opposition numbers continue to deplete in the Green Chamber. The attention of the House is drawn to what a lawmaker refers to as impending danger of the computer-based testing system for the 2026 WAEC examination.
Most of the schools in the urban areas and in the rural areas do not have functional computers, nor computer teachers, and us, as a result, they have not used computers before. We are further aware that unlike JAM, no candidate is expected to write less than 9 subjects, including practical, objectives, and theory. The House resolves as follows: to direct the Federal Ministry of Education and the Examination Body WAEC to suspend commencement of the policy with immediate effect.
Meanwhile, public health concerns in the FCT have been raised in the Green Chamber, as well as non-functional street lights, which lawmakers say pose great danger to residents.
Urgent need to address the alarming prevalence of unsanitary conditions and mounting solid waste, blockage of drainages and sewage systems, and the pervasive darkness from dysfunctional street lights in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja. The combined effect of mountain waste, blockage of drainages and sewage systems, and pervasive darkness from the faulty street light in creating a dual crisis.
I think my brother has taken the license of exaggeration too far. And this is exactly the same thing that happened when people were saying there is genocide in Nigeria. We have not denied that there are killings, that bandits are doing it, but people took it to the extent that the international community has said, nobody can say the FCT is filthy. Men, we all live here. We know how this place was.
The city is filthy. The city is filthy. It is filthy, and it endangers the health condition of the residents and the visitors of the FCT, and also the environment.
The House resolves to constitute an ad hoc committee to carry out a comprehensive investigation. In the meantime, the House has passed a resolution to investigate the administration and impact of tax waivers and incentives granted between 2015 and 2025. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, has demanded a fundamental shift in Nigeria's privatization agenda, urging a move from simply selling state-owned enterprises to asset optimization designed to power the nation's trillion-dollar economy ambition. He stated this at a third meeting of the National Council on the Privatization held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. And during that meeting, the council, chaired by the Vice President, approved the request by the Bureau of Public Enterprises to follow through on the engagement with Transco Power Consortium to secure the execution of performance agreements on the sale of Afam Power PLC and Afam 3 Fast Power Limited. And the target is to regularize outstanding conditions and operational targets for the post-acquisition plan and ensure commercial viability of the plant.
Yet I must admit that the speed and speed of our action was now accelerated. A nation moving without a compass, risk drifting, and Nigeria cannot afford such at this critical moment in our journey. As the global economy involves so much our approach to asset optimization, we must move beyond traditional sales or simple commercialization. I urge this council to explore modern models of privatization and public-private partnerships, including long-term concessions that attract private investment while government retains ownership. Asset-backed securitization that converts future revenues into immediate development capital, and co-investor sales tied to strict performance benchmarks that guarantee real improvement in service delivery and job creation. These instruments allow us to hold firmly to our compass while navigating the complexities of a dynamic world economy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we must also confront one of the most persistent hurdles in our national reform journey, which is post-privatization integrity. It is essential that we create seamless structures and our transaction documents that are meticulous, transparent, and legally sound.
We continue the news at 10 now. Let's head over to the nation's capital, Abuja, where Terry Kumi is standing by to bring us more stories on the news at 10. Over to you, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Anne. Now, troops from the Joint Task Force Operation Hadin Kai have successfully rescued 74 National Youth Service Corps members from potential abduction by Boko Haram and ISWAP along the Buratai-Kamuya Road in Borno State. The media information officer of the task force, Sani Uba, stated that the Corps members, 36 males and 38 females, were rescued around 9:05 p.m. on Tuesday after their vehicles broke down near a notorious kidnapping hotspot. He explains that a rapid military patrol was deployed after CCTV systems detected suspicious activity involving 3 buses at the location. On arrival, troops found the NYC members stranded. The Corps members are now accommodated at the Buratai military base, where arrangements are underway for their secure relocation. To politics now. It's a day till the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, scheduled for November the 15th and 16th in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. And despite the recent conflicting decisions of the court regarding the convention, the party's Board of Trustees, led by former Senate President Adolphus Wabara, says the exercise must hold. Mr. Wabara stated this after receiving the reports of the Reconciliation Committee set up by the Board of Trustees to reconcile all warring groups within the party. The committee, which says it met with the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, the PDP National Secretary, Mr. Samuel Anyanwu, and the former Senate President Bukola Saraki, was led by Ambassador Hassan Adamu.
It is absolutely practicable, if you want to use that word, for us to go to the convention. All the organs of the party, before these individual opinions, had agreed that we will go to the convention. The Governors Forum, the NWC, the Board of Trustees. In our last meeting, our communique made mention of us going for the convention. But if, for any reason, the Court of Law decides otherwise, because we are relying on the judgment of the Supreme Court, which should have guided the lower courts as of now to take a decision. I mean, in civilized world, these things are interwoven and interconnected. You don't make issue all kinds of orders when the Supreme Court has deliberated on that. So we are more or less challenging the Supreme Court of the land. So it's on that basis. But in Nigeria, anything goes. But as far as the organs of the party, are concerned, the convention will hold.
Still ahead on the news at 10, the Ogun Chamber of Commerce has criticized the suspension of the 15% fuel imports tariff, warning that it could hurt local refineries. That's on Business News. You stay with us.
For over 2 decades, we've poured our hearts and resources into life-changing initiatives across the nation. With education shaping new possibilities, healthcare bringing hope and healing. Good doesn't inspire from a distance. It comes from removing the everyday obstacles faced by real people. And economic empowerment, driving growth. So when we help lift one, they have the power to lift others too. Our story isn't written in boardrooms, it's woven in the lives that we touch. As we take steady steps, let's turn them into giant strides together.
Sweet na money kill and plus everything combined everything combined Ogbonge just the arrival. She tell me say na devil things so all she dey use try yeah. Now why the jello fit dey sweet like this? The chicken dey crisp like this. Fry the plantain.
Introducing the new Devon King's soya vegetable oil, available in stores near you.
I beg you no vex, if we talk through this one now for the street, for the people. Listen well, no they fall. Public no be your ashtray. Let no smoke for public.
When you light that cigarette, you're not just smoking, you're releasing something into everyone's air. That smoke, it doesn't ask for permission. It creeps into tiny lungs. It wraps around the breath of a child. It slips into the chest of a mother. It stays long after you've walked away. Second-hand smoke, it doesn't make noise. It doesn't scream. It kills quietly. And children, they should never be near cigarettes. Don't send them to buy cigarettes. Don't sell to them. Don't let them smoke. It's illegal. It destroys their future. It's against the law. Responsible smokers don't smoke in public. Protect others. Stop smoking in public. This social service message is brought to you by FCCPC.
How do you ensure your story is patterned into the fabric of time? You leave your footprints behind so that those after you can walk in it, and those after them, not only in your bloodline, but outside your bloodline too.
Let's help you leave your footprints in the sands of time for the benefit of generations to come. Meristem. Let's grow wealth for you.
the reward of success.
Welcome back to the news at 10. Now to company news. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Goxi Microinsurance Company, Mr. Shino Gbadegesi, is calling for wider participation, awareness and accessibility of microinsurance among low-income communities. He made this known at the 3rd annual Goxi Microinsurance Conference in Lagos, aimed at making affordable insurance available to small businesses and vulnerable households across Nigeria.
And so that's how we started off.
Goxi Microinsurance Company, in partnership with Microinsurance Network, kicks off its 3rd annual conference in Lagos. The event brings together insurers, policymakers, and partners to discuss how microinsurance can support low-income families and small businesses. Non-executive director at Goxi, Dorcas Thorpe, opens the conference on behalf of the chairman, Mr. Godwin Ehigiamusoe, while the managing director and CEO, Mr. Shino Gbadegesi, welcomes participants.
For decades, I have been privileged to witness firsthand the struggles and triumphs of everyday Nigerians, traders, farmers, artisans, and entrepreneurs whose courage keep our economy alive. It is for them that microinsurance exists. It is the bridge between uncertainty and stability.
It is with immense joy and deep sense of purpose that I welcome you all to the 3rd annual Goxi Microinsurance Conference, a flagship gathering where reflection meets action and where our shared vision for inclusive growth in Nigeria's insurance landscape is renewed and strengthened.
Speakers advocate more inclusive growth, especially for women, low-income earners, and the underserved, in line with the theme for the conference, which reflects on microinsurance in Nigeria.
Microinsurance is tailored for low-income population, especially those who are typically excluded from the conventional insurance markets. These are the target markets.
There's a lot of a need for tailored product design, which means really going out there, speaking to the population, understanding what works for them, understanding their way of lives, and then tailoring your product to meet their way of life.
The event shifts to the panel discussion, where financial experts call for greater awareness of the potential of the microinsurance sector.
For us to actually create a product that those customers segment will need, we must mingle, we must interact with them, we must engage with them in such a way that can give us a very deep understanding of their need.
So what we do, we assess what works in inclusive insurance regulation in one country and play these lessons to other countries.
There are still gaps. One of them is lack of awareness and education. There's still low awareness, there's trust deficit. Even the traditional insurance space is still trying to build trust.
Committed to small businesses, low-income individuals and households, Goxi Microinsurance says it will continue to position itself as one of the leading microinsurance providers in Nigeria.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. The rest of the news continues from Lagos with Anne.
Thank you, Terry. We turn our attention now to the healthcare sector. The Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Muyi Aino, has commissioned 80 revitalized primary healthcare facilities and handed over essential medical equipment and commodities to the Kogi State government to enhance healthcare delivery in the state. The commissioning ceremony, held at the Government House in Lokoja, was attended by Governor Usman Ododo, senior government officials, and other development partners.
The Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Muyi Aino, is in Kogi State for the commissioning of 80 revitalized primary healthcare facilities and the official handover of essential medical equipment. The revitalized facilities were upgraded under the World Bank-supported Impact Project in partnership with the NPHCDA, with the aim of expanding access to quality, affordable and reliable primary healthcare services across the state. After the commissioning, Dr. Aino formally hands over a consignment of medical equipment and essential commodities to the state government for distribution to primary healthcare facilities. Dr. Aino also commissioned and inspected the newly completed Model Primary Healthcare Center at Old Market Road, Lokoja, and other health projects across the state.
The chief servant of Kogi State.
He commended Governor Usman Ododo for his visionary leadership and hailed the state's health team for their dedication and professionalism.
You continue to show up for the health of Kogaites, and I dare say we have never had it this good, Your Excellency. You are an embodiment of a real translation of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's vision of high-quality, equitable access to primary health care that people can trust.
In response, Governor Ododo commended the commitment of the National Primary Health Care to the development of Kogi State.
If I have seen somebody who is committed, who is passionate, who is showing sincere love for his people, one of them is Dr. Muyiwa. I want to appreciate your father, Mr. President, for identifying him for his own eagle eye. Out of 5 million or 5 million programs, he's spotted you and you are doing well.
This handover of medical equipment to Kogi State by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency underscores the federal government's commitment to strengthening state health systems and improving the overall health outcomes for Nigerians. Victoria Longjourn, Channels Television News.
SunTrust Bank, one of the leading renowned fintech institutions in Nigeria, has launched its product in Lagos called Yes Money. SunTrust Bank says the new product, licensed by the Central Bank of Nigeria and insured by the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC), will cater for all financial needs of customers, enable them unlock new economic opportunities, and meet the financial inclusion goal of the product across the country.
Yeah, yes, money, yes.
In its continuous drive to create value for its esteemed customers, SunTrust Bank has launched Yes Money, its newest corporate product into the Nigerian financial market. The bank's management, partners and associates are here to witness this groundbreaking occasion to the introduction of a product that will make life easier for the banking public. In her opening remarks, the regional executive, Lagos and Southwest, announces the gathering that SunTrust Bank is tomorrow ready.
Today we are here to formally launch a platform that is built on 1, simplicity, 2, speed, 3, fast, and of course, very inclusive.
With the coming of Yes Money, SunTrust says it is poised to create value by leveraging on its competences to develop and provide a broad range of unique financial services to consumers.
In terms of you being able to attend to your customers the way you do, doing this within the app, and also being able to earn that thing that is very important to you in terms of commission, all of that is well catered for.
As a 21st century financial institution, SunTrust Bank's Yes Money will, among other benefits, enable customers manage their finances and unlock new opportunities without compromising security.
All our transactions are very secure because everything is encrypted. We have keys that changes on the fly, and we make it so that nobody can steal any other identity to do it. Because, for example, we secure every transaction by taking selfies in real time, to make sure that there is a real person that is doing the transactions.
The bank further notes that it aims to bring digital payment solutions to the doorstep of its customers.
We are now stepping in to provide this digital solution that will enable all sort of mom and pop to be able to provide services, to be able to reach markets far and near, right? And then individuals to be able to do transaction conveniently.
What we have done is to merge all this into one, to reach out to the unbanked, to reach out to the banked, and to provide that solution that is with ease and will solve all, there will be a one-stop shop.
As it launches Yes Money, SunTrust Bank promises to continue to create the best outcomes with financial ingenuity that leads to simple and creative solutions.
Let's continue in the world of business. Larry Williams is standing by.
Thanks, Anne. Well, in business news, the Ogun State Chamber of Commerce has criticized the federal government's suspension of the proposed 15% fuel import duty, warning it could undermine local refining efforts and weaken investor confidence. The Ogun SIMA president, Laoni Oshiem, described the move as a setback to Nigeria's economic reforms, saying the tariff would have supported refineries like Dangote and stabilized the naira and reduce dependence on fuel import. He urged the government to reconsider the decision in the interests of energy security and industrial growth. And to consumer matters now, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has set January 5th, 2026 as a deadline for full compliance with Nigeria's new digital lending regulations. The rules, which came into effect in July 2025, aim to ensure fairness, transparency and accountability across the sector. The FCCPC has also issued detailed guidelines to help operators meet requirements. The Executive Vice Chairman, Tunji Bello, emphasized that enforcement will begin immediately after the deadline with sanctions for non-compliant platforms as the Commission moves to protect consumers and strengthen confidence in digital lending. And on the data front, Nigeria's inflation rate is expected to ease further, with analysts at financial derivatives company projecting headline inflation to drop to 17.54% in October from 18.02% in September. The firm attributes the decline to improved food supply, stable exchange rates, and slower money supply growth. If confirmed, it will mark the 7th straight month of easing inflation. Food and core inflation are also projected to fall, reflecting harvest season gains and lower logistics costs ahead of the official date release on November 17th. And at the close of trade today, the brewers and Tier 1 banks made it back-to-back gains for Nigeria's bourse. And John McCoy has the details.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, it does seem like it's not a dead cat bounce. After all, the recovery at the NGX is for real. This is the second session now, and we're seeing another positive close. At the end of trade today, we saw 1.08% for the all share in the green, and building onto that 146, almost 147,000 level. Over R1 trillion has been added to the market cap, so we're comfortable at the 93 trillion naira, and it's mostly because of the figures today. The banking counter is back in its usual vibrant mood. So we see from First Holdco, UBA, GTCO, Accessco to Zenith Bank, the big guys, a lot of them having that gain, especially you want to put your eyes on what Zenith has done, 8.42%. So First Holdco, well, missed out on it, but it didn't bring down the color right there. Looking at the sectors, as expected, banking is up almost 4%, 3.80% in the green. Consumer goods follows that trend, 1.73%. Cadbury, Dangote Sugar, Honeywell Flour, and International Breweries, oil and gas also. Japan Gold, O&O. We see that Aradel is missing in the number today, but it's a pleasant one for the market, and it's a pleasant one for the bull.
Thanks, Dini. Well, to global indexes now, European stocks close in the red as the U.S. government shutdown came to an end. Here's a snapshot of closing numbers for the indexes we track. And that's business news. Back to Anne.
Thank you very much, Ladi. Now let's go outside our shores and join Samian Puse with international news around the world in 5 from a London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Jeffrey Epstein appears to have confirmed that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was photographed with Virginia Giuffre, according to a newly released email. The message, sent by Epstein, who is alleged to have taken the photo, reads, "Yes, she was on my plane, and yes, she had her picture taken with Andrew." Epstein's account appears to contradict the former prince's assertion that he never met Miss Giuffre, and his long-standing suggestion that the image of him with his arm around her may have been doctored. The July 2011 email was published on Wednesday, alongside more than 20,000 pages of correspondence from the convicted sex offender and disgraced financier's estate.
So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically, and it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you.
After 43 days, the longest U.S. government shutdown in history is coming to an end. Federal workers will start receiving pay again. Government services that have been curtailed or suspended entirely will resume. Senate Democrats, through their use of the parliamentary filibuster, were able to trigger the shutdown despite being in a minority in the chamber by refusing to go along with a Republican measure to temporarily fund the government. When a handful of Democrats broke ranks to vote to reopen the government on Sunday, they received next to nothing in return. Some 200 Kenyans are fighting for Russia in its war against Ukraine, and more could be recruited into the conflict, according to authorities. Among them are former members of Kenya's security forces, according to Kenya's Foreign Affairs Minister. Some of those who had been recruited said they were forced to assemble drones and handle chemicals without proper training or protective gear. About 1,400 citizens from across Africa are fighting alongside Russian forces in Ukraine, with Ukraine saying some were recruited through deception. 3 days after a car exploded near the Red Fort in the Indian capital Delhi, killing 8 people, investigators say they are checking if it has any links to the recent arrests of 7 men by police in Indian-administered Kashmir. They say they are also investigating if it has any connection to the recent seizure of 2,900 kilograms of explosives from a Delhi suburb. On Wednesday, the federal cabinet issued a resolution calling it a heinous terror incident perpetrated by anti-national forces. South Sudan's leader, Salva Kiir, has in a shock move dismissed one of his vice presidents, Benjamin Bolmel, who had been tipped as his possible successor. Kiir stripped Bolmel of his military rank of general and dismissed him from the National Security Service. He also sacked the central bank governor and the head of the Revenue Authority, both considered close allies of Bolmel. No explanation was given for the dismissals, which were announced in a decree broadcast on state television. It comes when there are growing fears of political instability and a possible return to civil war after the recent collapse of a fragile power-sharing agreement between Kiir and the opposition leader. The world's burning of fossil fuels is set to release more planet-warming carbon dioxide than ever before this year, according to new figures. It is another sign that efforts to fight climate change by cutting emissions are moving far too slowly to meet international targets, as countries meet in Brazil for UN climate talks COP30. But emissions have grown much less quickly over the past decade as renewables have taken off, providing hope that the world's warming trend can still be curbed. And separate analysis by clean energy think tank Ember suggests that fossil fuel use in electricity generation has flatlined in 2025, largely thanks to the growth of solar power. And Australian windsurfer Andy McDonald has recalled surviving a shark attack in Margaret River in Western Australia earlier this week. Mr. McDonald encountered the shark while windsurfing, saying later that he believed, "This is the moment that is the end of my life." The shark gnawed on his board and then dived deeper into the ocean, leaving him mostly unharmed.
Just out of the blue, something just went straight up from behind, like a super solid hit. And I was flying through the air and just crashed into the water. And I actually fell. I knew it was a shark attack. I was tangled up with the shark. I don't know what it was doing. It was obviously biting my board. I came up to the water surface and my sail was floating. It's got inflatable tubes on it. So I jumped up onto it and just lay down.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Three-time African champions, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, have advanced to the final of African playoffs for the 2026 FIFA World Cup following a dramatic 4-1 win over Gabon after extra time. Chidera, Ejuke and Victor Osimhen struck in the first period of the added time after the match in Rabat had ended 1-1 after 90 minutes. Nigeria, who enjoyed the better of the semi-final tie, had seemed on course to win in regulation time after Akko Adams pounced on a poor back pass to give Erishel's side the lead in the 78th minute. But Gabon leveled in the 89th minute through Mario Lemina's deflected shot to send the game to extra time. Meanwhile, Chancellor Mbemba was the hero with the late winners. DR Congo beat Cameroon 1-0 to set up a meeting with Nigeria in the final of the African playoffs for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The Leopards captain ghosted away from his marker to convert Brian Chipenga's deep corner in the first minute of stoppage time and upset the 5-time continental champions. The indomitable Lions hold the African record for the most appearances at the World Cup with 8 overall, but will be missing from the expanded 48-team tournament next year. UEFA President Alexander Ceferin and English football player Tyrone Mings met with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer at 10 Downing Street to mark the launch of the Euro 2028 earlier today. The tournament will be co-hosted by England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and Ireland. The high-profile gathering underscored the collaborative spirit behind the major sporting event, emphasizing the unity of the host nations. Then Alex de Minaur had kept alive his chances of reaching the last 4 of the ATP finals earlier today after beating Taylor Fritz in the straight set 7-6, 6-3 in Turin. Australia's de Minaur had to win in straight sets in order to have any chance of making it out of the Jimmy Connors group. Defeat for Fritz in 1 hour and 35 minutes has ended the Americans' participation in this year's edition of the prestigious end-of-season tournaments.
Oh, the quality keeps on coming. What a victory. His first ever at the NITO ATP Finals, and it keeps his hopes alive of a semi-final spot. The most remarkable.
Fantastic play there, and that sport is back to you, Anne.
Thank you very much, Chris. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's unwavering resolve to defend Nigeria's sovereignty and safeguard the nation's unity and stability. The Senate has passed for second reading the Armed Forces Bill 2025, seeking to outlaw recruitment of persons below 18 into the military. And House of Representatives has warned of looming mass failure in 2026 WAEC exams, urges immediate suspension of CBT policy and recruitment of computer teachers nationwide. And public pressure has mounted for full Epstein files release as White House dismisses Trump-linked messages as baseless. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Good night and please stay safe.
This is Entertainment News on Channels Television. Hello and welcome. My name is Abidemi Dairo, and today on the program, we will speak to the reality television star Thatcher, the first Nigerian to break 2 Guinness World Records at the same time. Also, we'll shine our spotlight on singer Spearheart as he strums his harp in concert in Lagos, West Nigeria. Plus, fashion designers across Africa converge in Port Harcourt, Rivers State for the L'Afrique Fashion Fest. We have details and many more on the program today, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back. So yesterday, the big news in the showbiz space is the Guinness World Records confirmation of a double record-breaking feat by Nigerian reality star and makeup artist Thatcher Akide, popularly known as Thatcher. Well, the frenzy is still on, and the lady of the moment joins us now on the program. I see she's still beaming with smiles. Congratulations, Thatcher, on becoming the first Nigerian to break 2 Guinness World Records at once for the most cosmetic makeover in 8 hours and 24 hours, respectively. Did you know you were gunning for a double record when you applied?
Yes, funny enough. You know, this has been in the works since last year. It's not something we just thought of and started doing. We've literally been planning since last year. And I feel like even when people say, oh my God, Thatcher is extra, my team is even more extra. These guys were gunning to go for over 5 records. They were like, you can do it. You definitely can do it. But we had to narrow it down to 2 records. So yeah, right from the onset, we've always known we are going for more than 1 record. And even with the marathon going on for about 24 hours, we did break multiple records, but just 2 records was what we registered for and go approval for and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's awesome. I was there on the day and I saw the energy you had when you arrived. You made a little dance around the arena before going to pay tribute to the giant portrait of your mother, which was standing right in the middle. Yesterday when the Guinness